Hello, guys. Good evening to everyone. Hello, Light Yakami. Thank you, bro. I was also dying to stream. So I hope my voice is clear. Can you guys confirm if my voice is clear? Everything's good so that we can begin this stream. Hi, Light Yakami. Um, Light Yagami, Great Gatsby. Everything is clear, I hope. How's my voice? Good evening. Uh, Gatsby, voice is fine. Thank you. Okay. So I know I have not been streaming for the past couple of weeks. We were all, busy. I can hear your soul. Should I adjust my mic setting a little? How about now? Is it fine? Light? I hope you can still hear me and not hear my soul. Okay. Um, Gatsby, fine. Okay. Voice is fine. Okay. Let's begin. Okay. Today I've got a very fabulous episode or live stream on our dear, the great so-called comedian called Veer Das. All right. So let's begin. So just to give you context of what actually happened, we are going to look at how Abhijit Chavada literally roasted Veer Das, and for good reason. For good reason, right? Veer Das apparently a year ago went to United States of America as a so-called comedian and dissed dissed India shamelessly, very shamelessly. Of course, I won't be playing Veerda's clip here because who knows, he might copyright strike or whatever. So I'm going to read his excerpts, right? I'm going to read what he said. And then we are going to look at this video of Veerdas telling why he responded the way he responded after Abhijit Chavda said that he was a brown coolie for which he was offended, apparently. Okay, so let's have a quick recap. Okay, this is what Veerdas, went and said. I don't want you guys to go through the torture. Veerdas, two Indias became a very so this is the video that I'm talking about. You can check it out in your own. I'd recommend you not to check it out because it's going to give you a huge headache, right? So let's read. Instead, we're gonna read what he said. All right, let's see. This is from another toxic subreddit called India. It is India. Our India is as much Indian as the Hindu newspaper is the Hindu, right? For those of you who don't get it, I hope you get it. Okay, let's read what he said. So he basically went to Kennedy Center at Washington D.C. so that he can make fun of India, and not in a good way. He's a comedian, and let me just say in very clearly in the first place that comedians, I respect freedom of speech, I respect freedom of expression. That doesn't mean that I don't get to roast you, right? For your effed up views. So about India especially, right? So let's read what he says. The temptation in this moment is to make a video about myself. I don't want to do that because I'm reminded that I come from India. So he's basically saying that he is from India to a bunch of Americans and also Indians in his audience, right? I come from India. From which India? I come from two Indias. Those are the Indias I bring on stage with me right now. All right, two Indias apparently. I come from an India where children in masks hold hands with each other, and yet I come from an India where leaders hug each other without masks. So this is an obvious diss about Prime Minister Modi because he goes around hugging a lot of leaders, right? So he's apparently trying to say that Mr. Modi, who goes on a lot of foreign trips pre-COVID, used to hug the leaders, and he's making comparison to today. Today meaning 1 year from now, when India was going through the worst pandemic ever. He's actually trying to do a false equivalence of Modi hugging pre-pandemic and kids hugging today with mask. Great start. I come from an India where EQI is 9,000. Okay, another moronic statement because we all know the AQI range. If you look at the AQI range, it is around, what is the range here? So AQI range is from 0 to 500, and this guy goes to 9,000 apparently. So there you go. But we still sleep on the roof and look up on the stars. He's trying to be very poetic here. I come from an India. Now this is where this is where the stereotyping happens, right? A blatant stereotype, blatant what I call blanket statement. Blanket statement. I call it blanket statement because he's literally generalizing entire India. Imagine generalizing 1.4 billion people, right? I come from an India where we worship a woman during the day and I can't even say this word here. Them at night. Okay. So remember, guys, I'm going to come back to this statement, all right? Because this is a guy who apparently got offended at a word that Abhijit Chavada has said. Okay, I'm not going to go into that. Let's see. So remember, guys, this guy just stereotyped a country, his own country. Apparently, he's from India. He says multiple times, and he stereotyped his own country in a audience of white people. I come from an India. Let's see next statement. I come from an India where we claim to be divided over Bollywood over Twitter and yet united by Bollywood in the darkness of theaters. Apparently, this guy has no idea that people are beginning to boycott Bollywood. I come from an India where we scoff at sexuality and yet F till we reach a billion people. Uh, this is a mixed statement because we don't scoff at sexuality. India, I don't know what he's trying to say by sexuality, because India is the most open country when it comes to third genders, transgender, whatever gender. We have been, even there are temples who are dedicated for transgenders, unlike the Western countries who are transphobic apparently. Being a let's be very honest, being a third world country with around $2,000 per capita income, India is safe. You know where trans people are not safe? A Congo, Republic of Congo, which has similar per capita income, right? There most of the third world countries where India is also a third world country, let's be very honest here, there people are not safe. People get killed for being gay. If you go to Nigeria, if they somehow, you don't have to go to Nigeria. You have to go to Pakistan, right? Our beautiful neighbor, very peaceful neighbor, where gay people are shot because they are gay, right? So this guy saying that we scoff at sexuality is blatantly wrong. Again, next statement. I come from an India where journalism is supposedly dead because men in fancy studios in fancy suits give each other okay and jobs, and yet women on the road with laptops are still telling the truth. This I'm laughing here because the so-called woman on the road is Barkha Dutt. She is the same so-called journalist who in 1999 went to Kargil to, again, to quote unquote report, and despite the Indian army telling the so-called journalist Barkha Dutt multiple times to stop reporting live because she is giving the actual position of the Indian army to the Pakistanis, she continued to report live. And she blatantly misuses her position as a journalist in 2611, where she blatantly went on a live stream. She literally went live on national TV and asked a grieving family member who just talked on a mobile phone with his relative, close relative, who is stuck in the Taj Hotel or the Nariman Oberoi Hotel. I think it was the Oberoi Hotel. She asked a grieving relative where his relative was stuck at the Oberoi Hotel, and guess what happened? The terrorists inside the Nariman Oberoi Hotel got to know the exact location thanks to this idiot yapping live with no consequence at all. She's scot free today. This is the beauty of so-called journalism pre 2014, because they want to set a narrative that after 2014, after Narendra Modi came, you know uh, India isn't safe for journalists. Yeah, sure, huh? Yeah, buddy. The only journalists which are not safe in India are the kind of journalists like Arnab Goswami, who is so pro government that he gets thrown in jail by the opposition. Okay, next statement. I come from an India where we bleed blue every time we play green. Okay, but every time we lose to green, we turn orange all of a sudden. Okay, so he's trying to portray the religious element orange. He's an idiot because he should have used saffron, this which signifies Hinduism, but whatever. So he's trying to bring the religious element. I think last year, I think someone dropped a catch or something in cricket, and everybody started saying, "Ye to is ye to mile hue hai ji," right? He does not say that in every game that Pakistan plays with India, they themselves insert their religious dogmatic values in the match. Remember, Imran Khan, the ex prime minister in 1992, said the statement, that every time I play with India, it's like I'm doing jihad. This was his statement, right? So this was his statement, and I am appalled that he's using this statement. And it's funny, you know. You look at our neighbors, right? You look at the let's see. You look at Afghanistan cricket team, right? This is Afghanistan cricket team. Let's look at Bangladesh cricket team. Okay, but Afghanistan cricket team is blue apparently. So this is Bangladesh cricket team. What color is this? Green. Okay. What is Pakistan's cricket team? What color is this? Green. What is Indian cricket team? Blue. Do you know why we chose blue instead of saffron, which actually means something to 80% of the population of this country? Because secularism ka ठेका exclusively 80% of the population of India ले रखा है. This is why the color of Indian cricket team is blue, right? And this guy, this failed actor turned comedian, says that we are inserting green and we turn things into orange. So the hypocrisy is palpable. Next statement. I come from an India where we laugh so loudly in the comfort of our homes that you can hear us through the walls, and yet, okay, I come from an India where we break down the walls of comedy club because you can hear the laughter inside. So this is clearly the sad, pathetic condition of our freedom of expression, of our freedom of speech, the state of our freedom of expression, freedom of speech. And here I agree with Virdas, because in India, it is sad and it is pathetic. We don't have freedom of speech and freedom of expression to the extent of the Western countries. So I'll give it a pass for this statement. I come from an India where old leaders will not stop talking about their dead fathers and young leaders will not stop following their living mothers. I think he's talking about Rahul Gandhi here. I come from an India that has the largest working population under 30 on the planet, but still listens to 75-year-old leaders with 150-year-old ideas. Oh my God. Okay, buddy. I think he's being ageist here. Just because someone is old doesn't mean that their ideas are old. And I don't know what 150-year-old ideas he's talking about, because Hinduism has existed for 5,000 years. If his idea is Hindutva, which I'm sure he's peddling here. Okay, next statement. I come from an India where every time we get the information, we are always available to care for the PM, but we can't seem to get information on PM cares. Again, PM cares, it has been handled. Even I donated for PM cares, so I don't know what happened. So I'll give it a pass here. I come from an India where we licked. Okay, when I think we're kicked out, not licked out, kicked out the British, but yet we call the government the ruling party. Next. I come from an India where women wear saris and sneakers and yet have to take advice from old men who have never worn a sari and will never come to off, never get to take one off in their entire lives. Oh my god, virginity joke. I come from an India where our music is both hard, but our sentiments. Oh. How is an average white dude from Los Angeles or Washington is going to understand both hard? Chat. Light Yagami Pappu ji, yeah, he made a Pappu joke. But tell me, chat, how is this statement a white guy? Remember, he is in Kennedy Center at Washington D.C. This cannot get whiter than white when you're at Washington D.C. So I don't understand how is this statement बहुत hard. Some white guy is going to say, अच्छा मैंने बहुत hard सुना है क्या? Okay, next statement. I come from an India where people sleep outside on the road, outside the club, but man, 20 times a year, the road is the club. Okay, philosophical. I come from an India where we take pride in being vegetarian and yet run over the farmers who grow our vegetables. Chat, Sallu Bhai says hi. I come from an India where we claim to fully support the troops until it comes to their pension plans. Oh my god. I come from an India where we can never be on time no matter where we go, but yet we are always early on the website. See, now this is where I have a problem with the COVID website, right? Do you know that today, if you want to show the proof that you are vaccinated in the West and particularly in the United States of America or particularly in the Washington DC, you know what you have to show? A piece of paper. A piece of paper. This is the uh, vaccination proof US. This is the paper that you have to show. This. Can you see this? This is the paper a Western country with the 23-24 trillion dollar economy is using a paper as proof that you were vaccinated compared to India where you whip out a smartphone, compared to India where you whip out a smartphone, right? You whip out a smartphone and say that you are vaccinated. This is the online proof, right? Compared to this. So I have to tell this, no matter what other countries who has dealt with COVID, today China is dealing with COVID. What I have to say is, I have to salute our pharma companies, particularly Bharat Biotech and Serum Institute of India. I have to salute them for what they have given us for a vaccine that actually works. Right, I have to salute them. We have to salute them. We have to give them Bharat Ratna for whatever this. They have saved so many lives. And Covin website, it works. I'm sorry, I don't agree with this point here. So next point, let's go next point. I come from an India where we have maids and drivers and yet want to come to America to do this job. Oh, look who is speaking. Look who is speaking. This guy, Netflix. He he portrays entire India stereotypically the way BBC portrays India. And here he is bitching about going to America to do this job. Ironically, this guy is in Washington DC pandering to white people who has stereotypical views about India. The irony is palpable. Lightega you have to show a record card that I know. Yes, they have to show a record card. Let's move. I come from an India that self-serves and I come from an India that self-preserves. Okay. I come from an India that will not shut up and I come from an India that will not speak up. A lot of BS here. I come from an India that will accuse me of airing our dirty laundry, and yet I come. Oh, look at this statement, dirty laundry. So he knows, this guy, this Veerdas guy. He knew he will be attacked for saying all this stereotypical nonsense about India. He knows this, and so he inserted this statement that I come from an India that will accuse me of airing our dirty laundry, and yet I come from an India that wears their heart on the sleeve, irrespective of how dirty their clothes are. Basically, slumdog millionaire poverty porn. Basically, we have to proudly show the slums, according to Virdas. I come from an India that tells me every single day to go to Pakistan. Yet I come from an India that invites Pakistanis over every single day, if only to whoop their. Okay, this statement is again very contradictory because the ICC and the government of India has refused to play Pakistan ODI except for World Cup. right? So this statement is again false. I come from an India that is going to watch this and say this isn't stand-up comedy. Where is the goddamn joke? And yet I come from an India that will watch this and know that there is a gigantic joke. It just isn't funny. So he himself says it isn't funny. He himself says he this whatever this nonsense is not funny. Joke on who? Joke on him. I come from an India where children living in basements and writing on comment sections have more courage than men on skyscrapers. Even reading this is giving me headache. I come from an India there is Hindu and Muslim, Christian, Parsi, and Jew, and when we all look up at the sky, we see only one thing: the price of petrol. Okay. This is not about only India, guys. Virdas ji, this is everywhere. All right, and particularly today at this instant, it is the Americans who are looking at the sky and saying, "Why did we elect Joe Biden?" I leave you tonight and go back to India. Of course, you have pandered to the white people so much that a brown guy has to call you a brown coolie, and for that you're offended. Which India do I go to? Both of them. Which India can I be proud of? One of them. Which India is proud of me? None of them. False. There are many brown coolies in India and are very proud of you, Vedas. Very proud of you. So this is all nonsense bullshit. His name should be a bullshit artist. That's what his name should. Let me close this and let me show you a small clip of Abhijit Chavada on Veerdas. Right. So this is what he said 5 months ago on a Ranveer show. Let's listen to him. I'm not going to play the entire thing. You can watch this video if you want, but let's play small sections of this word.
His own problems. This particular we'll probably address. Would you like to say anything about those?
Absolutely. So I would like to say something that most people won't like. Many people won't like. I call him a brown coolie. It's not a very flattering thing to say. There are certain people who, in order to curry favor in the West, specialize in what some would say shitting on their own people. You know, you go outside your country and you
I love when he says shitting on his own people.
denigrate your own culture, your own people, and you try to amplify the overall impression that the people in that country have about India. So if you look at the overall depiction of India in the Western media, in the US media, whether it's the Washington Post, whether it's the New York Times, they always try to denigrate India. When India did this world record of 103 satellite launches in one rocket, they put up this cartoon of India trying to enter the
Yes. Do you remember that, chat? Huh? I think the cartoon that he's referring to here is just cartoon space. I think the cartoon he's referring to is here. This is the exact racist, stereotypical image that the West creates, right? You see this? You see this cartoon, chat? This statement of this guy, India, carrying a cow, right? Whereas the Westerners, oh, look at the Westerners, very sophisticated, huh? Very sophisticated. With their glasses, reading about India's Mars mission, having wine, sitting in leather sofas, and all that. And meanwhile, look at this guy. Look at this pagan, heathen, Hindu, coming with their cow and disturbing them. This exact image is what this guy perpetuates in the West. And Abhijit Chavada sir is literally calling out this guy, right? Let's listen further.
elite space club with a cow, right? So they always try to put this colonial backward image of India, and that's how they would like to see India. It's a very Hindu phobic image of India. India is
Yeah,
a
very
backward
Hindu-phobic.
country with a primitive, barbaric, pagan culture where you have whatever phobia, and women are downtrodden, and minorities are downtrodden. These are all lies. I disagree with this completely. And Veer Das, in order to become famous there, went there and made all these statements on a public stage, which I think is shameful. He should be ashamed of himself.
I want to quote Joe Rogan as well. Joe Rogan constantly talks about the media world in America being entirely governed by the left wing.
Mhm.
And for the record, I feel I'm personally centrist. I'm not
You know who this guy is pandering to? Where is that guy? Who this guy is pandering to? He is pandering to this corporation. This corporation. I can zoom it here. This corporation. If you look at this corporation recently, the CEO of this corporation, he said that in India, not many people are watching Netflix. Netflix CEO, see if I can remember, CEO disappointment in. So this is what the CEO of Netflix says about India. Netflix lack of success in India is frustrating. It's actually very frustrating. Now tell me, who in their right mind is going to watch this, which host content, which hosts Hindu phobic, India phobic, Hindu messiah, Hindu hate content? Who is going to pay them money? Tell me who is going to pay them money? See how he's very frustrated with India because Indians do not want to watch his Hindu phobic content, right? Who's going to watch your content? Let me tell you. So this guy, he's basically pandering to the leftist media. I call them leftist mafia in the US. He's basically doing a pranam and saying, भाई साहब मेरे को ले ले अपने कैटेगरी में, मेरे को ले ले, you know, take me into your club so that I can sit inside and make fun of India. Basically, this Veerdas wants to be this guy who wants to make fun of India by stereotyping India. That is what he's doing.
on either side. That's just my political opinion from a overall, even international perspective. I feel why should there even be two wings? There's probably a little bit of good on both sides. But Joe Rogan himself has said that most of the media world, Hollywood, the television industry is very kind of tends to left in
Yes, yes. It tends to lift. All of the Hollywood, like let me give you an example here. Marvel left wing. So recently, Marvel movies. I'm not talking about the Spider-Man's Homecoming and all that. I'm talking about the Black Widow stuff and all that. It was subpar, right? So recent movies like Black Widow, Thor: Love and Thunder, and especially the She-Hulk. You know, it is a disaster. You know why? Because they are inserting left-wing propaganda into these sort of movies. They like to portray women as some sort of a superhuman being who can do everything without men. These kind of over the top empowerment bullshit that Marvel likes to, it's basically left-wing propaganda that they sprinkle on top of their movies. And he's right. He's right. Beer biceps guy, this guy is right in saying that most of the media in the US are left wing.
America, most of it, other than I think Fox News, which is leaning towards right. And in Hollywood circles, in acting circles, in these kind of circles, basically the media world of America, you have to say the politically correct things, which in that particular circle is stuff that would please the left wing.
Yes.
And maybe this is an echo of that same.
Maybe he just wants to succeed there. I mean, he's an outsider. He wants to become one of the inner circle. And to do that, you have to please them, whoever is in power. You
Exactly. And so this is what he has been doing here. He is going to the US, he's going to Washington DC, and basically shitting on India. And this is something unique to India, right? This is something that I observe lately, in the past 10 20 years, that it is always the brown Indian who goes abroad and shits on India. You don't see this kind of behavior, this kind of self lynching, inferiority complex ridden behavior by the Philippines, by the Filipinos, by the Thai, by the Chinese, by the Pakistanis. You don't see them going to America and shit on their own country. They have problems in their country, but they don't go on a world stage like this moron here and shit on their own country. No matter how brutal the regime is, I have never seen a Chinese comic go on a world stage and shit on China. Iski bus chale na, if this guy ever gets invited to Oscars, right? He would have started this India 2 nonsense in Oscars speech also. I'm 100% betting. Just to score some brownie points. Ironically, it's called brownie points. Just to score some brownie points with his white masters. I'm betting you he's going to play the 2 India nonsense. If this guy, God forbid, he gets an Oscar for some shit comic show, he is going to play the brown bully. He's going to play that card really well. So this is, I'm going to stop this video here because I don't want to play the entire thing. You can watch the video if you want here with Abhijit Chavada on Vita, so you can just type this. But let's respond to what this guy is saying. Basically, I've already watched the video, but let's watch it again.
We had to go there at some
We
point.
had to go there at
Will you
some
set up
point.
context? Because I thought it was hilarious. But yeah.
Abhijit Chavada's been a regular on the show.
Yeah.
He's a scientist who's also a self-trained historian. He does a lot of commentary on geopolitics. I've learned a tremendous amount from him.
Yeah.
He had a lot to say about your the video.
Yeah.
Do you want to give a little context on the video?
I did a video called Two Indias. I think everybody is who's not been under a rock within our community kind of knows about it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Really? Everybody knows about this video apparently. This really shows you how narcissistic this guy is.
See, the thing is, when you're doing podcasts with someone, when you're in front of the person, you get to know the entire energy of the
Yeah,
person.
exactly.
I know him very intensely well because I've
Yeah.
probably done like 20 podcasts with
Yeah.
him. And now I believe I'm getting to know you as
Yeah.
well. I think we all were in the same room. You all would have had a great open-ended conversation, kind of dissecting it. But
Yeah.
sometimes the internet has a way of maybe polarizing yourselves. You know what I mean?
So, I mean, the context is I got sent a clip, all right, where I think this gentleman was calling me a coolie or something like that, right? And I messaged you because I'd seen your stuff and I'm a fan of what you do. And I think I also messaged you in a month in my life where you have to understand there wasn't a single member of my family who hadn't been threatened.
Mm.
Okay, so this guy again, it's the classic mentality of playing the victimhood, right? Playing the victimhood. He has not addressed a single thing that Abhijit Chavada has said. He has gone on a racist, stereotypical tirade against India, but here he is, right here, sitting in front of this platform that is given by Beer Biceps guy and playing the victim. Oh, मेरे को मेरे wife को threaten किया, मेरे को threaten किया. I mean, he does not know what actual threatening means. You just need to look at Nupur Sharma, ma'am, or what happens when you get threatened.
You know what I mean? So
this guy has no idea of what being threatened means, right?
with every bit of discourse that did something, it added to a situation that I'd never spoken about.
My intention was not to add fuel to your fire.
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
But it's just the circumstance of where I was, right? And that is nobody's fault but my own.
Yeah, I do agree that it is his fault.
Clarify that.
Why do you say that, dude?
Just in terms of I'm responsible for my own circumstances, right?
Okay.
At all times, whether intentionally or not intentionally, I own my circumstances at all times, right? So I saw him call me a coolie, and I sent you a message because I was like, I hope, and I think you're younger than me, like
So, chat, he's getting offended because Abhijit Chavada sir has said him, called him a coolie, brown coolie apparently. This guy has the audacity to get offended when he portrayed 1.4 billion people of India as rapists. As rapist, this guy who has stereotyped a country of 1.4 billion people by random statements, by making blanket statements, is offended about being called a coolie.
by quite a bit, you know. I'm like, I hope he knows that when you call an Indian person a coolie, it's like calling a black person the N word, you know.
Uh, I can't believe this guy, because if you listen to a lot of rap songs in United States of America, a lot of the lyrics of the so-called black people have the N word in that song, and a black person can call another black person the N word. And last I checked, this guy looks very similar to this guy. Both of them could be the same race. So I don't understand what a brown person says brown coolie to this guy. How is it racist? Dad, can you understand the logic here? Light Yagami, correct. I have hardly seen any guys in other countries talk. Yes, I agree, Light Yagami. This guy is he's a unique case. He's a sample.
Or it's like calling
ये तो खुद अपनी अपनी ही दुनिया में, मतलब he's in his own world.
somebody a slave. It's incredibly ignorant.
Look at how he's trying to play the racist card and then play the victim card. Apparently it's racist.
and racist. And
I'm sorry, Vedas, you are a brown coolie, and I say this as a proud Indian, as a proud brown Indian. You are a brown coolie. All right, you are a brown coolie.
and so I think if you read the tone of the message I sent you, I never said don't say this about me. I just said I hope this never happens to somebody else on your show.
Yeah.
You know,
Sorry about that. As someone who also
No.
gets targeted on the internet,
Yeah.
that it wasn't
know.
my intention to throw bullets at you.
not at all. But what I will say is I'm an artist, right? And
Is he though? Is he an artist? Is he? He's an opportunist. He is a failed actor. He is a failed comedian, but he's not an artist. I refuse to call this guy artist.
I'm an Indian artist first.
Yeah, you have mentioned multiple times in your sad, pathetic poem that you were Indian multiple times, right? And so that gives you the right to portray India as a land of rapists, right? How is this like he is using the same argument by saying that another brown person cannot say that he is a coolie because he is also brown, and then in the same breath he says that I am an Indian, so I am allowed to criticize India. So how is Abhijit Chavada sir, who criticized him, now he's playing the victim card? How about you rebut all the points that he said about you? How about you rebut that? But no, he's down to playing victim. अरे मेरे wife को ये कहा, मेरे wife को ये कहा. No, nothing. Everything. Like I'm victim. That's it. That is his excuse. Sad, pathetic excuse.
I've been taught to accept my feedback, mouth shut and head down. This is my school of living. All right.
Oh, really? Then what the hell are you doing here? What the hell are you doing here? If you had accepted that feedback, what are you doing here? Trying to justify your sad, pathetic poem, stereotyping India. What the hell are you doing here?
right? However you feel about my content, I'm yet to critique it. I'm yet to defend it, and I'm yet to apologize for it. Any piece of content that I ever create. That is your honor. And I have to sit quietly and I have to listen to you. And I have to honor everything that you say. This is my job as an artist. So, were he in front of me or were anybody in front of me for any piece of content, what I'll always say is, however you feel about my content is valid feedback, right?
Then what the hell are you doing here trying to play the victim card? I mean, he is saying that he accepts Abhijit Chavada's feedback, and then in the same breath, he says, I want to say something about what Abhijit Chavada has said about him.
Let me see if I can contextualize this. I'd say
I love how he's scratching his head like kaha se kaha ja raha hu main. He's trying to wiggle out of the hole that he's Light Agami. He's a scam artist. As an artist, he's actually a scam artist.
should I listen to your feedback and should I learn from your feedback? Absolutely.
Should I listen to his feedback? Absolutely. What the fuck are you doing here then?
At all times. Do I acknowledge that art is imperfect? Absolutely.
So he is saying that he's imperfect. So this is an apology video? I'm confused.
At all times. Do I feel like artists who are evolving should have the freedom to be imperfect without a system coming down on them or without being threatened? Absolutely.
Look, Vedas, you are India. This incident happened a year ago, and as far as I can see, your head is still attached to your body. So all this threatening nonsense that you're trying to play victim card, right? Stop it. All right. In this country, you can accuse the Hindus of everything, but what you can't accuse them of is being intolerant. If there are so-called comedians in Maharashtra who have said a lot of worse things than what you have said, and they are in fact praised by the left wing. So-called intolerant India has made them stars, right? And I'm talking about the so-called comedian from Maharashtra. I'm not gonna name him. If you know, if you know, if you know, you know, right? So this guy out here trying to portray India as some sort of an intolerant Nazi regime. I don't see this guy in shackles, right? What the hell is he talking about?
I feel they should.
I strongly agree with you. But
Right.
go on.
Do I feel like what happened to me or my wife being threatened or any of these things is right or wrong?
Okay, so we are 4 minutes 17 seconds, and he is playing up the wife card. How many times is he going to use the wife card? My wife is threatened. My family. Dude, I get it. Why don't you rebut what he said? Huh?
Buddy, who cares? Nobody cares, right? Let it go. I'm a comic. So, what's the most important question?
Is he a comic though? Why am I laughing? Yeah, when he said he's a comic, I laughed. Okay. You're not a comic, Vedas. You are an activist pretending to be a comic. That's what you are.
Is it funny?
It's not funny. It's not funny. It's sad and it's pathetic.
Is it an interesting story? Guess what? Absolutely. It is.
What story is he talking about? Like, he literally said that India is a shithole country where rapes happen. He talked about some AQI going to 9,000 or some shit like that, and he's talking about story. What story are you talking about, bhai? कौन सा story? क्या story है? What the fuck are you talking about? What story? You are basically making blanket fucking statements about a country of 1.4 billion people. What story are you talking about?
So, what becomes my job? My job becomes shut up, sit down, and write jokes about it. It's as simple as that. I've yet to mention my content. I've yet to give a news interview about my content. I've never been on a news debate. I had every major journalist in the world calling me saying, "Come on the show and talk about."
His narcissism really comes out. Basically, he's saying that every reporter in this goddamn earth is dying to have his interview.
Nothing. Sat down, bina susu, bina potty in the morning, and I took 8 months of my life and I wrote a joke. I wrote a show about it, and I took that show across the world, and it made millions of people laugh. Now on Netflix. So now my narrative is something that
He has an AKI of 9,000. Okay, now I know why this guy is here. He is here to promote this shit. Now I know why he's here. He's here to promote this thing. Okay. Basically, footage नहीं मिलता है इसको. All the so-called reporters who wants to interview him, he does not give you interviews apparently, but he goes to some random YouTuber with some relatively, another random YouTuber, and he goes to these random interviewers giving interview, but he would not give an interview to the New York Times. Tell me he's full of shit. Please tell me he's full of shit. He's out here in some random YouTuber's podcast promoting his whatever nonsense this is landing.
began with drama has brought joy to millions of people. And that's
Is it joy to millions of people? You and I, we have very different definition of joy, Mr. Vedas.
me taking control of, my story.
Yeah. How do you look back at it?
I
That whole
don't,
phase?
man. Like I'm trying to find my next piece of
Why will he look back, dude? He's getting millions and millions of dollars from Netflix by pandering to the white people, by encouraging their stereotypical views about India. Why is he going to introspect? Why is he going to retrospectively analyze his wrongdoings? He's rewarded. He's rewarded with this show, with this show, Netflix special. He has got a Netflix special. I'm sure the Netflix would have given him millions of dollars for this whatever show this is, right? So why is he going to introspect? In fact, he's incentivized to continue his behavior shitting on India so that he gets more promotions. More promotions next year, right? This year he's going to get more promotions.
content. Like the one thing I know for a fact is your content can become controversy and you have no control over that. Controversy should not become your content.
False. Your entire premise of going to United States is to make controversial statements so that your show would become controversial in India. Thereby, the left wing is going to push you forward as some sort of a freedom of speech ka chela, freedom of speech ka leader. And now here you are sitting here promoting your Netflix special. So you thrive on controversial statements. You thrive on controversy, Mr. Vedas. A fifth standard pass guy or girl could understand what your strategy is, right? I don't know. Look at his smile.
So my priority was how do I turn this around and make people laugh?
Oh, really? Because reading that poem was absolutely hilarious, right? A poem about India being the zombie land of rapes. That was very funny, right?
At the end of the day. So what did I do? I don't know if you've seen the special or you've not seen the special, but the
I don't know. Please, to the 6 people who are in my chat, please don't watch his special. Don't give 1 penny to this guy.
special is really just taking everything that I went through and making an
On the other hand, please like and subscribe, guys. I need your help. Please support our channel,
ass of myself.
but don't give money to this guy.
Because
Yeah.
of 2 Indians?
Yeah. So it was like I was called a terrorist on the news But how did I explain that to my
अरे भाई कितना रोएगा भाई. I was called terrorist. I was called this. I was called. कितना victim card play करेगा. It's honestly getting pathetic.
mom? You know what I mean? It's like your friend said, somebody called me a slave. Veerdas is a slave,
Again, oh my god.
but but Das also means slave, no? But my first name is Veer, so apparently I'm a brave slave. You know, at the end of the day, it talks about
Very funny, huh? Very funny. Very funny. Slave. Apparently, some guy called him slave, and he's sitting here in the podcast playing victim. With that logic, if you go to Twitter, everybody becomes a victim in Twitter because some random guy. Today, I had a comment saying I was fascist. I should also play victim card.
I understand that I'm an idiot. You know, so it just takes things and turns it into joy, which is all I really want to do. But
Is it though? Is it? How are you turning to joy with your two India video? You basically dissed on a country, your own country. You went to a foreign land and you dissed on your own country. And here he is sitting on this podcast shamelessly saying that he is trying to spread joy. I haven't seen such hypocrisy ever, man. Like, what the? I want what he smokes, dude. Like, seriously, what the hell is he smoking here? He has not countered a single point what Abhijit sir has said about him. Everything for 4 minutes he talked about his wife getting victimized and whatever nonsense, and here he came to his name getting victimized. He hates his name apparently, or somebody called him slave or something, and that he's crying about it here. And a little 1 minute ago he was promoting his special.
but I think India, like, we got to be more secure about who we are, man.
Light Yagami, don't watch this, dude. You're going to you're going to regret it, dude.
You're right. And that begins on a very
If you want to watch it, right? I'm telling you, if you want to watch it, don't pay Netflix. There are other ways to watch it. I'm not gonna say how, but you get the idea.
personal level and not even like a geo.
Because that your same money would be used by these Netflix wallas to prop up idiots, brown coolies in India. So never pay Netflix.
Political level. I think that Samman and getting respect in our society is a very big deal as compared to the rest of the world.
Arey, but respect from who? We have to respect ourselves. It's as simple
Yeah.
as that. Arey, Baba,
How are you respecting yourself, dude? By stereotyping India? Because this is the played up tactic of every Western news outlet. Like this. Where is that? Where is that? Yeah. This stereotypical image of India is exactly what this guy went to the US and said indirectly that, bhai, white people, you are correct. आप लोग सही थे. We are a bunch of pagan, heathen savages with our cows and bullock carts and whatever nonsense. And you guys are the elite. You are correct. We are a land of rapists. This is what this guy, inadvertently went to a foreign land and said. And now here he is playing a victim card and then having millions and millions of dollars spent on him by Netflix. In what angle this guy is victim? Tell me, dude. कौन से angle से this guy looks like a victim? He's a sad, pathetic guy who will say anything, and by making controversial idiotic, stereotypical statements about a country of 1.4 billion people, he is getting rich. So I can't see how he is a victim here.
slum hai to slum hai, and we're working on it, right? Slum के सामने बड़ा white wall नहीं लगाने का. Slum है.
Yeah, bro. Everybody knows slum hai, Slumdog Millionaire. This is what India is associated with. Slumdog Millionaire. Every time Koreans go, every time some foreigner comes to India, the first thing they'd go and visit is the slums. They are the slums. सबको पता है भाई. तेरे को जाके अमेरिका में जाके इंडियन स्लम्स को प्रमोट करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. Alright? This guy, he goes to America and he portrays the exact stereotypical image of India that the West wants to hear from another brown coolie, which this guy is, so that they can give him a lot of money to continue to play up the bullshit of India being poor and India having slums. I agree, India is poor, all right, but I will never in a million years go to India and start dissing on my own country, unlike this guy.
We're working on it. You give us time. We're a young country. We'll fix it.
Are you into geopolitics?
Not so much, but
Okay.
this is my point. You know,
Okay.
I'm not in favor of building the big wall in front of the slum to pretend like it doesn't exist.
See, I told you again, right? He is the classic Greta Thunberg Pro Max of India, right? He's a classic case of the activist. You know, the Vela, the failed B grade actor who has not been successful in Bollywood. He's the classic guy who is used to, have these silly issues, right? Honestly, the entire incident is very silly.
Okay.
I'm in favor of saying it exists and we're gonna get it right.
Mhm.
You know, we're very young, man. Like, we've been holding the baby for a very short amount of time and we've made it to superpower.
The stuff
Are we a superpower, guys? With a per capita income of $2,500. Now, as a Deshbhakt, I'm honestly asking you guys, to the 5 people who are watching this, are we a superpower?
you're saying right now,
Yeah.
I wish honestly we had done the podcast around that time, so you could have said the same stuff then.
But like I said, it's not my. I'm talking about.
Not yet. Yes, I absolutely agree. We have miles to go. We have miles to go. We have, I kind of remember the statement by Major Gaurav Arya, right? He said a statement that, in Hindi, he said कि हमारे किले के दरवाजे हमेशा अंदर से खुलते हैं. The Jaychand kind of types, the brown coolie kind of types who will do anything to become quote unquote successful. He reminds me of these people who will do anything, like uh, like literally anything to become quote unquote successful. So we have a lot of internal enemies. We have a lot of, obviously we have two fabulous neighbors, Pakistan and China. Sarcasm. So it's we have to be very careful of these types, right? These types who are the 0.5 front. Late our late chief of army staff, he said that we have a 0.5 front. So again, he's an activist pretending to be a comedian.
About it now because I wrote jokes about it.
Okay. You
You
took
know?
time to like just
Yeah,
process your
but
own
I'll
thoughts.
never, buddy. I'm nobody's victim. I'm nobody's hero. I'm just a comic. At the end.
वाह, आई एम नोबडीज विक्टिम, आई एम नोबडी हीरो. अगेन हियर यहाँ पे भी मतलब पोयम छाड़ना शुरू कर दिया इसने. It's been 7 minutes and 49 seconds. Not one word of rebuttal of what actually is said by Abhijit sir on him. The entire 8 minutes almost is spent on him being the victim. Nothing, no substance at all to what Abhijit sir has said. Nothing.
Of the day. So I had to do that first before I ever talked about anything.
A lot of the younger comics I meet
Mhm.
are often in a bit of turmoil. It's
Yeah.
a lot of turmoil, probably because they have so many thoughts and they're trying to write down so many
Yeah.
things. And a lot of the older comics I meet are super self-actualized. And
Yeah.
I'd put you in that same category, dude. Like in a very non-romantic way.
Yeah.
There's no pain in your eyes, dude. Like there is some pain, there's thought, but a lot of people hold pain in their eyes. You're a relaxed guy at this point in your life, perhaps.
But dude, think about the odds of what I get to do and how I get to do it. I'm a guy from Noida. I'm half UP, half Bihar. I was raised in 4 different countries growing up.
Yeah, Light Yagami, you can ask me, dude. Go ahead.
I got to go to America and study for college economics, which I didn't even use.
Mm.
So he's a American.
The odds that I get to travel across the world and make people laugh and that people will pay money to see that, do you know how astronomically small the odds are?
Exactly. I agree with you, Vidas. How astronomically small the chances are that despite being a mediocre comedian or an activist masquerading as a comedian, despite being mediocre in acting, despite being mediocre in every fucking thing, you still have a Netflix special. He should start motivation lessons on how, despite being mediocre, he has still gotten a relatively successful career. I mean, I wouldn't pay him a penny to watch whatever crap that he's selling, but there are people who will watch him. I mean, kudos to this guy.
For somebody coming from where I come from. So to not treat this like a blessing every single day, I'd be a moron, man. On my worst day, going through, and this is not the first.
Okay, this guy, I get it. He's trying to be super smart here. Okay, let's take some questions. Okay, Light Yagami has some questions for me. Light Yagami says, "What would you do if you were in place of this guy and you knew you were wrong?" Okay, very important question here, Light Yagami. First of all, I wouldn't be in his place because, like I said before, if uh, I wouldn't take money. You cannot offer me X amount of money to diss on my country. I'll be the first to say my country has problems. All right, but I'm not going to go to a fucking foreign country in a hall full of foreigners and start a rant by starting a rant of so-called poem telling that India is full of rapists, telling that India has AQI of 6,000, 9,000, whatever number this moron used. I'm not going to take any money. So I won't be in this guy's place. I'd rather starve, honestly speaking, than peddle shit on my country. Right? To be very honest with you, Light Yagami, I'm being very honest here. I don't want to be this guy because I need a good night sleep. I need to be able to sleep peacefully at night time. I don't want to be this guy. So let me close this, and I'm not going to play the entire video, guys. You can watch the entire video of him. Uh, but let's watch for 1 minute
Happened
and
to
see what he said. Right?
watch that. I haven't watched the entire podcast. I've seen the clip in which he supposedly responds to my criticism of him on the same podcast, Ranveer Alabadia's podcast, the TRS, the Ranveer Show. So a few months ago, I've done, as you know, many podcasts with Ranveer. So a few months ago, he had asked me, Ranveer, on his podcast about my views, my opinion about Veer Das's actions abroad, the things he said about India on foreign soil and all that. And I had essentially criticized him. Uh, I don't remember exactly what I said. I haven't watched that clip again. It's been so long. But apparently, I called him a brown coolie. Yeah, and so Veer Das. So Ranveer, in this clip that I saw a couple of days ago, he asks Veer Das to respond to my criticism, and Veer Das says that me calling him a brown coolie is
He said, Virdas said that he's from America, and he does not know that black people sometimes refer to their black friends with the N word. The usage of N word is so common among black people, and here he is trying to play the victim card. Just because Abhijit Chavada sir has called him brown coolie, it is racist. But a black guy calling another black guy the N word is not racist. Like, this is the kind of double standards that these morons come up with, right? The कहाँ कहाँ से आते हैं ये लोग, it's like it's frustrating it sometimes, right?
is a racist apparently. Yeah. So, so me calling
Des noise, you make my heart work. Desdemona, nice. Please keep. But if your heart starts talking, I do recommend you to visit the hospital.
Veer Das a brown coolie is apparently racist. Before
It's apparently racist. Even he's trying to laugh.
I even address that, it's perfectly fine for Veer Das to make all kinds of anti-India, anti-Hindu statements. It's fine for him to call all Indian men rapists. That's not offensive. But me
Exactly, exactly. Abhijit sir has hit the nail in its head. It's all right for Mr. Veerdas to say that all Indian men are rapists, but for a brown person to call him a brown coolie is suddenly racist. Wow.
calling him brown coolie is offensive.
And you know, I just want to show you this this one article, right? Uh, this one article. You see, where is it? Where did I see this? See, see, so-called Indian Express. Look at the title. Veerdas confronts YouTuber for giving platform to someone who called him a coolie. Says it's incredibly ignorant and racist. See, these are the kind of media personnel we're talking about, right? How conveniently they portrayed him as racist. Look at the backing, like the entire it's like the entire ecosystem suddenly jag gaya to defend this guy, right? How is this an article? Like, who wrote this article? It's a by Entertainment Desk. And look at the wording of the article. Veer Das confronts YouTuber for giving platform. For giving platform. So indirectly, this article is saying that Abhijit Chavada should be cancelled. Not very liberal of them, right? Not very liberal of these so-called liberal outlets, right? Journalism is courage. This is a tagline of this hypocritical Indian Express. What is even more funny is that our bureaucrats, the one who are preparing for UPSC, needs to refer to these news outlets. No wonder our bureaucrats are Hindu phobic. So, you know, I don't want to play the rest of the video, guys. It's already an hour more. If you have any questions, guys, to ask, I'll be ending the video. I'll be ending the live stream in a few minutes right now. Desdemona, I hope. Are there any questions? Do you have anything to say? Oh, by the way, I haven't said this again. I want to say this again. Happy Gregorian New Year, because according to us Hindus, we celebrate our New Year during Makar Sankranti or Bihu if you're from Northeast. This is all Christian New Year. You know, Hamara New Year abhi tak nahi aaya hai. It'll come in a couple of weeks. So that's why I have not wished anybody of you Happy New Year. Right? I'll wish you Happy New Year in the coming weeks, right? The coming weeks. So yes, UPSC refer to the Hindu in expression. Yes, yes. Our Mahan Babus refer to these leftist news outlets. Look at the title, dude. The title itself makes me vomit. For giving platform to someone. I mean, uska naam bhi nahi liya, right? To someone apparently. Desdemona. No, 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 not Happy New Year. It's Happy Gregorian New Year. It is a Christian New Year. हमारे लिए Happy New Year नहीं है. कभी Chinese New Year सुना है? Do you think the Chinese say Happy New Year? No, they wait for the Chinese New Year, whenever that is. So right, I'm going to say Happy New Year in a couple of weeks, right? When our New Year comes, Makar Sankranti, Bihu jab aayega na, that is our actual New Year. Although the N word is used as a joke between, array, dude, N word is used like everyday language, bro. Like, there's literally a YouTube channel called the N word, right? Uh, it is used very much. It is used too often. Lunar New Year, yeah, Chinese. So I'll end it right now, guys. Light Yagami, thank you so much. You were there from the start. Thank you for supporting me, bro. Desdemona, thank you for watching this stream, bro. I hope that you have liked this video and hopefully you can share this video, right? And do tell me about the new topics that I could make videos on. Do join my Discord. I'm going to share the link down below, right? And we will see you in the next stream next Sunday. All right. Happy Gregorian New Year. Goodbye. Jai Hind. Vande Matram.